Nadia, ew! I'm going to be taking your husband now. What? What do you mean you're going to be taking my husband now? Like I said, I just got together with your husband, Jason, and we're in some serious love right now, which means he'll be coming with me now as we get out of here. You guys are running away together? Hold on, Vivi. I already get that you have such a problem with men of all types, and it's no joke at all. But now you're going after your own sister's husband? Well, someone like Jason, who's been with a not-so-good-looking woman like yourself, said that he'd rather be with someone who is still young and juicy like myself from now on. Also, he's making a ton of money currently, right? Since he's freelance, that means he can choose to live anywhere we want, and with all of that money he's bringing in, I can stay at home and be his housewife forever. This makes running away with him so easy for me that it's insane. You aren't looking at the whole entire picture here. Oh, the divorce paperwork is in your mailbox for you. And he made sure to end his lease at that apartment he was renting. What? He ended the lease? He told me that he's going to buy all sorts of new things, so things like his furniture and clothing can all be thrown out if you'd like to do that. This is all way too one-sided and crazy. Bye-bye! Hey, Vivi! Nadia! Good seeing you after 3 years. Have you been doing all right for yourself? What? Vivi? Yahoo! I can't believe you'd get back in touch with me of all people. What? Tell me, what's so bad about me wanting to talk with my older sister again? After having gone and stolen that older sister's husband from her, I don't understand how you have the nerve to talk with her again after 3 years. Are you mentally all there? Is that something you should be saying to your little sister who just got back in touch with you after such a long time? Vivi's so sad she might cry. You're so freaking annoying. You're so mean. So what do you want with me? The past 3 years I haven't heard a word out of you, and yet you're wanting to talk with me again? There has to be something you want from me, right? Well, if you think there's something I want, then there is. What is it? Currently, you're 36 years old, right? That's right, but is that all you care to ask about? Being cared for by your own mama at the age of 36? Excuse me? What are you wanting to talk about here? I'm wanting to know how much longer an old hag like you is willing to leech off mom and dad for. Leech off? The fact that you're getting so close to your 40s and are still having to rely on mom and dad for everything is insane. Sure, I'm at that point now where I've gotten up there in age and I'm still living in the same house as mom and dad are. But nothing ever came up about me being the one getting cared for by the both of them. And here's something else that's new to you. This is my house we're living in, and it's really only mom that lives here. What is that? Trying to act all tough now or something? For someone that was still a housewife only 3 years ago, was it really that easy for you to find a proper job right after we ran off? No, it wasn't. So stop trying to act like someone you're not. That is why you living in that house with your parents means that it is them who are still having to take care of you. And just to let you know, I am fully aware that Dad passed away while I've been gone, so we can just leave him out of this. But the fact that you're having to leech off a widow now who only has a part-time job, I feel so sorry for her. Vivi, you have a lot of misunderstandings going on right now. I was never a housewife before you ran off with my husband. What? Around the same time I got married to Jason, my company was rolling out some new things like having a lot of us work from home remotely. So for the most part, I was working from home while I had Jason as my husband. I can understand why you'd see that as me leaving my job, but in reality, I had just been working from my room. And even now I'm at home working remotely for the company. All right. You really think you're making yourself look all professional and employed by saying you're working from home and remotely right now? Well, that's not going to work on me. Hey, what are you trying to say here? Where I'm living right now and who I'm living with at the moment has nothing to do with you, right? No. It has a ton to do with me. Then you tell me why that is. Oh, you still don't know why? I honestly can't even tell what you're wanting to say to me right now. What I'm saying is, Richard and I will be moving back home and in with Mom, so you need to get lost now. That's all. Huh? Who is Richard? He's my current boyfriend. Huh? Then what happened with Jason after you went and stole him from me? Well, about a month after doing that, he and I broke up. Huh? That quickly? Well, to tell you the truth, Jason said to me that the company he was freelancing for just so happened to be the same company that you worked for, right? He said that the moment the company found out that he had run off with me, he lost all work from said company. Well, I'm sure he did after pulling that. The man in charge of dealing with him and the projects was someone else, but everyone knew that he was my ex-husband and that he became my ex due to some very unfortunate reasons. To think that the man he had left his wife for was her little sister. Everyone in the company, including the CEO himself, lost interest in a man like Jason and said to stop giving him work right away. Hey, we don't have to talk about him anymore. Right now, we're talking about how Richard and I are moving back home to stay with Mom. So when are you going to be able to get out of that house? Before that, let me ask you something. Vivi, where are you right now? I'm living here in City A with Richard in his apartment. But soon the whole building is going to be taken down in order for the new condos to be built. And so with that, we were thinking of moving back home and staying with my mom for a while. We'll also be getting married while we're there. That's the plan that the both of us came up with. And after getting in touch with a friend of mine still living in that neighborhood, they told me that you are still living back home with Mom. Nadia, you're in my way right now, so please get out. And when did you talk with that friend of yours? 2 months ago or so. 2 months ago. I see, so you still have no clue then. About what? Right now I'm over in Europe with my husband living together. Did you not hear about that from anyone? Huh? You're in Europe? I ended up getting married to a Dutch man. Huh? While here in the US, he told me that he was going to have to head back to the Netherlands, and so we got married and I went with him. And Mom made sure to come along as well. What the heck? That kind of a lie is way too easy for me to figure out. Why do you think I'm lying to you right now? Because you were never able to speak Dutch in the past. I don't even think you had any interest in Europe before, so you really expect me to believe that you're living over there now? No way, no way. Did you know that before my divorce from Jason, I was taking classes for both Dutch and German? What? After you had taken Jason away from me and left me with a shattered heart and all, I started to take an even deeper liking in Europe and in the Dutch as a whole. Mom then started to come along with me, and we went from being terrible at foreign languages to learning 2 in under 2 years. And that's why we're now able to thrive over here with no issues at all. And if you're wondering who my husband was, well, he was my Dutch and German teacher. Huh? So this is the kind of fantasy world that you 40-year-old hags come up with when you've been forever alone. Scary. I'll be coming back home next Saturday, so I need you out of that house by then. Nadia! Why? What happened here? What is it this time? There is no house here anymore. Huh? The house I was born and raised in? The house that I was supposed to start living in with Mom and my fiancé? There's no house here anymore. The house was torn down a while back. Hey, what's all of this about? That was my house. Since both Mom and I were moving to Europe, there was no reason to leave the house there empty with no buyers. So we sold it off for the land. What? Thankfully, the man that bought the land was an old friend of Dad's before he passed away. When we spoke with him about what he was going to do with the land, he said he'd be turning it into an apartment complex. And so what you're seeing is the empty land after he tore down the house, before it's going to have an apartment placed on it, right? No way. I never heard about that. Even if we wanted to talk with you about it, you had both Mom and I blocked until very recently, right? We had no idea where you were living, and there was no other way for us to get in contact with you. No way. We already ended the lease on the other apartment and can't go back there anymore. Richard doesn't have a family or anything, so there's no place for him or us to go back to either. By the way, have you noticed a car waiting around there? Huh? A car? I heard that it's supposed to be an all blacked out van, but... Huh? What are you talking about? Look, Vivi, I've been waiting for a very long time now to get a settlement from you for what you'd done 3 years ago. Huh? A settlement? A settlement for having had an affair with my husband and stealing him from me. Technically, it may be too late for me to do something like that, but I can at least still try. And since I now know where you are, I can snatch you up and take you to talk with my lawyer. And the people there to help take you are a group from a construction firm in the city. Huh? A construction firm? It's the kind of company who are more than happy to hire lost causes like you and turn your character around so you can become a decent member of society again. What? They're there to pick you up and take you off to go start working for them, building a dam out in the middle of nowhere. And my lawyer said he'll come to talk with you about having all of your income from there sent right to me as a form of out-of-court settlement. Huh? No! At least let me work at a cafe or an apparel outlet or a fancy furniture store. Let me work somewhere high-end. Well, you can, but can you find a place that will hire you by tonight and a place for you to live nearby to it? What? Even if you find somewhere else to work, you're still going to have to pay me back for what you've done. And even though I'm not there in the U.S. anymore, there are plenty of people who will support me, like that construction firm and my lawyer. And that lawyer just so happens to be top of the class, so you can try to run and hide, but you'll only be making things worse for yourself. What is this? Now, this is going to be the last time you and I ever text one another, all right? What? Nadia? From now on, only talk with my lawyer, please. The blacked out van just pulled up to me. No, Nadia, I don't want to go. Bye-bye. I didn't tell my younger sister, but it turns out that her ex-husband Jason is also working for a construction firm at a different location. Apparently, when they got divorced, my parents had to cover the alimony costs, and Jason is currently repaying them for his wages at that job. Just the other day, I reached out to him to discuss the situation with my sister, and that's when he told me about his employment. Naturally, my immediate thought was, well, if Jason's working there, then why not get my foolish sister involved too? As for my sister's now ex-boyfriend, Richard, he seems to have only come along with her because she told him to. Once they arrived at that chaotic situation, their relationship ended right there on the spot. I can't say I'm surprised, given how things had been going between them. Richard was clearly never the type to handle pressure well, and my sister, well, she certainly isn't known for choosing her partners wisely. I guess it was just a matter of time before things fell apart. So, there you have it. My sister ended up securing food, clothing, and shelter in the most unexpected way. It's almost comical when you think about it. However, despite her newfound situation, she still managed to leave me a voicemail saying, "I'm so tired. I'm scared, Nadia," with a hint of desperation in her voice. Just as the message was wrapping up, I could hear a tough-sounding woman yelling in the background, "Quit slacking off, will ya?" And then the message abruptly ended. I had to chuckle a little bit when I heard that because, knowing my sister, she's probably getting exactly what she deserves. After years of being lazy and making poor life choices, she's finally in a situation where she has no choice but to work hard under someone's strict supervision. To be honest, it's probably the best thing that could have happened to her. Still, it's not easy to completely shake the feeling of concern when you hear your own sister sounding so exhausted and frightened. I know she's been through a lot, but at the same time, her tendency to make bad decisions has led her down this path. It's hard to feel too sympathetic when you remember all the chaos she's caused over the years. I suppose the fact that she ended up working in such a strict environment is some form of poetic justice. After all, she's spent most of her life avoiding responsibility, bouncing from one ill-fated relationship to another, and somehow managing to escape the consequences of her actions. But now she's finally in a place where she can't run from her problems. She has to face them head-on, with no easy way out. Maybe, just maybe, this will be the turning point she needs to grow up and take some responsibility for her life. But at the same time, knowing my sister, I wouldn't be surprised if she finds a way to mess this up too. It's always been her pattern. Just when things seem to be turning around, she manages to self-sabotage. I can only hope that this time things will be different. Maybe the tough environment will teach her some valuable life lessons. If nothing else, it's a far cry from the easy, carefree lifestyle she's used to. Jason's situation, on the other hand, is a bit more straightforward. He's working hard to repay the money my parents covered for him during the divorce, and from what I hear, he's managing to stay on track with his payments. I suppose that's something, at least. It's not like he has much of a choice, though. He's stuck in that job until the debt is paid off, and there's no telling how long that will take. I can't say I have much sympathy for him either, considering everything that happened during their marriage. In the end, both Jason and my sister ended up in places they never expected. Life has a funny way of turning out like that. The two of them thought they could coast by on poor decisions and avoid the consequences, but reality eventually caught up with them. Now they're both stuck in their respective situations, learning the hard way that there are no shortcuts in life. As for me, I can't say I'm upset about how things turned out. In fact, I think it's probably for the best. My sister needs to learn that life isn't always easy, and Jason is finally paying the price for his mistakes. Maybe, after all this, they'll both come out of it as better people. Or maybe they won't. Only time will tell. For now, all I can do is wait and see how this chapter of their lives unfolds. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.